All right, Ethan. So today's episode is momentous. It is
Yeah.
momentous because this is number 100.
What?
So I did not think I'll be honest, I did not think we'd get to 100. I had every intention of us getting to 100, but I was like, life will get in the way. Um, I'll drop you, you'll drop me, you'll get bored, I'll get bored, something will come up. But 100, man, that's a hell of an accomplishment, and it's been quite a journey.
Oh, very much so. I'm looking up now. I'm asking Perplexity, how many episodes does the average podcast last? What do you think the answer is?
Sixth.
Six? Okay, you were close. The average podcast lasts about 7 to 10 episodes before it ends, or what they call pod fades,
Yeah.
meaning most podcasts do not continue long term and many quit within the first few episodes. So we
Crazy.
are more than 10 times past the average. Welcome to King Moves. In chess, the king moves one step at a time, but that single move can change everything. Each week, we explore mindset shifts and simple actions that could lead to the next breakthrough in your business and life. I'm your co-host, Ethan King, from Atlanta, Georgia, USA. Entrepreneur, TEDx speaker, and best-selling author of Wealth Beyond Money.
And I'm your co-host, Justin King. No relation to Ethan, from Cape Town, South Africa. Entrepreneur, speaker, and business growth strategist. Our journey crosses continents and cultures as we think out loud, challenge assumptions, and uncover the small moves that create big momentum. Welcome to King Moves. Let's start the conversation. Yeah. Thank you. Well done, man. Well done. And thank you. Thank you for being on the other side of the camera, being on the other side of the world while you've been on the other side of the camera and making it possible. It's been amazing.
Yes, thank you. I tell people before we dive into this, because we do have some nuggets we want to share with you all today that you can apply to your life and business. But one hack that I tell people who are hesitant about podcasting is the biggest hack that I learned is get a co-host. Because if you have someone else who's showing up, then you have to show up. At least that's what helps me. It's like knowing that you're there, Justin. You're on the other side of the world. It's afternoon for you. It's morning for me. And I know Justin's going to be there. We have it on the calendar and we knock these episodes out. So if it were just me, I don't know that I would be as consistent. So thank you for being that hack for me.
I appreciate that. I'll add to that. And your co-host should also be somebody that you like and enjoy speaking to. Otherwise, this would not have happened either.
Yeah, for sure.
Right. So to stick to the theme of 100, 100 not out, 100 episodes in 100 weeks, it's quite a streak. So we thought, well, if we have got that streak, what other streaks have we possibly had in life? And where do streaks fit into our lives and our work lives, our personal lives? So that's what we want to dive into today, is this topic and this idea of streaks. Gamifying, I suppose, is another way to look at it. Gamifying your way to accomplish certain things. So as I was prepping for today, I was looking at, well, what are some of the streaks that I've had potentially in my life over the years? And I jotted a few down. Some are quite interesting, some not so much. And there's definitely a million that I've forgotten about as well. So what's probably getting to the top of my list is 100 podcast episodes in 100 weeks. I am stoked that we have managed to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Another 100-day streak that I had was a few years ago. I did 100 posts on LinkedIn in 100 days, and that was probably about 4 years ago. So that was an interesting one. I actually didn't learn as much as I thought I would about what content I wanted to create or start creating at the time. But that was a good one. Another streak earlier this year, 10 marathons in 10 days.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, probably yeah, most physically demanding streak I've ever done.
But by the way, big episode. If you didn't check out that episode, jump back and listen to that one where Justin documents his 10 marathons in 10 days. It was awesome. I think it's our most downloaded episode. So go check that one out.
And then if we zoom out a little bit, because I've been speaking a lot about days here, but I think sometimes what we need to do is zoom out and look at years. What streaks do we have over years? And I've got a few interesting ones. I'm proud to say that I've had a staying active and a gym streak of probably at least 21 to 22 years of
Mm,
getting to the gym. Look, I try to get there probably about 5 times a week, but 3 to 5 times a week, that's been a streak of mine. That's probably also led to the shoulder up, but that's a big streak. And then the strangest streak of mine, Ethan, the strangest streak of mine, it's got to do with school.
huh.
Goes all the way back to school.
Okay.
And I couldn't work out if it was 12 or 13 years that I had a streak of never missing a day of school from the day I started at junior school until the day I finished at senior school. So it was about 12 or 13 years of not missing a day of school.
You had perfect attendance all the way through.
I did. I
Wow.
did. So I don't know if my parents should get arrested for that or if I was just a kid that was I was very lucky and stayed healthy. But that was those are some of my interesting streaks.
Oh, wow. That's a good one, man. Oh, okay. Well, kudos to your mom. My kids have gotten perfect attendance a few times. 'Cause they do it like every year when you're in elementary to middle school. It's really the parents' award, right? Because it's really the mom's award because she's the one who drives them to school most of the time. So
Yeah.
I say
Yeah.
that's your award, not his. All right.
But
Well, Justin,
what have
those
you
are some
got?
remarkable streaks. Yeah,
Yeah.
you're making me think about this now. You definitely stirred up some thoughts that I hadn't thought about. But we'll go with the most obvious right now is Duolingo because it's on the home screen of my phone. I currently have 1,079 days in a row of Duolingo, which is cool.
Amazing.
And I'm learning Spanish. And it works. I feel like I can hold some conversational Espanol here and there, and I can definitely understand it more than I can speak it. I could listen to a whole conversation and understand the whole thing, and then speak back slowly. So it is working. So gamification does work there. Another thing that's on the homepage of my phone is my steps. So I use this app called Pedometer Plus, and you can set your step goal for the day. And I've been doing this. I first got introduced to the concept of keeping up with your steps back in 2013 when the Fitbit first came out. And my buddy Samir, who's a cardiologist, he told me I needed to get in shape, and he said you got to get at least 10,000 steps a day. And I had never thought about counting my steps before that. That was kind of when it was a new thing. And so now, ever since then, so that was 2013, 12 years ago. Ever since then, I've kept track of my steps. Now I use the watch and Pedometer Plus, and my goal is my daily minimum is 15,000 steps per day. So that's another streak.
15
15,000 a day. Yeah.
overachiever.
Wow.
Most of us mere mortals just go for 10, Ethan.
Well, you just did 10 marathons in 10 days. How many steps was that?
It
You were
was a
like,
few.
how many steps is that? Like
I did work it
what?
out. It was about 536,000 steps in the 10 days.
Okay, cuz I was going to guess like 40 or 50,000 a day. So about 50,000 a day, huh?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's pretty remarkable. Yeah, the 15,000 steps a day, it can be tough, but I definitely notice a difference in my fitness when I'm hitting that. I'm at the best shape in my life right now. I weigh less now than I did. I haven't been in this shape since I was in college. So
Amazing.
it's been and I lost like 10 pounds over the past year. So like really stepping up from 10,000 steps to 15,000 steps made a big difference. But yeah, Streaks, the podcast. I really didn't think I'd be doing that. This was one on my someday I'll start a podcast list,
Yeah.
and so I'm glad we met, and it's been working out well, and it's been growing. So happy about that. Another streak that I didn't think I'd honestly, if you would have asked my 19, 20-year-old self, would you be married for 22, almost 23 years?
Amazing,
Yes.
man.
Yes. 22 years. So my next anniversary will be 23. And we actually still like each other. So that's cool. Yeah, been a dad for 15 years. Wow. Still can't believe that because I'm probably the least mature person in my household. I get in trouble for making the inappropriate jokes sometimes and things like that. So yeah, let's see. What other streaks? Oh, well, and this all kind of ties to fitness and running. Another fitness hack. I'll just sign up for races. So at the beginning of the year, I'll sign up for 3 races. So I have done the Peachtree Road Race, which is I think one of the biggest 10Ks in the world. About 60,000 people run it every 4th of July. and I have done it this will be 19 years in a row that I've run the Peachtree Road Race.
Right.
Um, and if you've read my last book, Wealth Beyond Money, and I talk about it sometimes, it's very significant to me because that was the first fitness event I had ever done. And I was allergic to fitness before that. My brother talked me into running the Peachtree, and it totally changed my life. I got addicted to it, like that whole adrenaline and the dopamine and all of the pleasure chemicals getting released. I never thought that I would be addicted to running, but I loved that feeling after completing that race. So that streak has persisted. And I have a few other races that I do every year too. Like every Thanksgiving, I do a half marathon. But I think that streaks are the secret sauce to success. And if you look at where you have success in your life, and this could be kind of good or bad, right? Because sometimes we have streaks that we don't intend to have. I mean, I have a friend who goes to every single football game, Georgia Bulldogs football game. That's his passion. He loves it. So he has a streak, and he's never going to break that. He's passionate about it, you know. Whereas some people, if they just sit on the couch at home and watch every single football game, well, what does that do to your body? So, I mean, there are certain things, there are trade-offs in life, right? So I think the key is being intentional about your streaks and where you want to see more success. Well, how can we reverse that and say, well, what streak do I need to have to get there? And then find a way to gamify that by having some type of app on your phone or marking a calendar on the wall or something like that.
So I agree with what you're saying. I think in simple terms, streaks ultimately become behaviors. That's what we're speaking about.
Mm-hmm.
If what you're wanting to do is decide the type of person you're wanting to be, whether that's from a business point of view, a family point of view, fitness point of view, where do I want to be? Who do I want to be? And then from there, you're working backwards. Well, if I want to be that kind of person, what do I need to do on a daily basis, weekly basis, monthly basis, yearly basis, whatever it is to maintain that? That behavior then becomes your streak, and your streaks then stack, or the behavior then stacks to ultimately create the person or the version of yourself that you're wanting to be. So I think that's
Mm-hmm.
really what it is, Ethan. And you also touched on, well, you made me think of something now as you were going through yours and sharing a lot of what you did. First of all, I've got some streak catching up to do based on what you shared. I will say that. But I also loved what you shared because it wasn't all about just like business streaks or whatever. So much of what comes up is related to family and that element of our lives, which I really like and I appreciated. And I think if we also start thinking around who we are, what have we done currently, we can start finding streaks that we didn't even know that we were working towards. And a silly example that I'll give now, but it did come to mind for me is I've got a streak of coming back, and it's top of mind because when we jumped onto our call today, you asked me how my shoulder is doing. And
Mm-hmm.
for anybody listening, I had shoulder surgery almost 4 months ago. And I have a streak, well, I have evidence, is another way to look at it, of coming back and doing what I need to after like facing injuries. Like I've broken an arm, I've had surgery twice on my right leg, I've ruptured a tendon in my right knee. This is the second time I'm having shoulder surgery. I've had a couple of twisted ankles and the like everybody does. And yeah, a lot of those have set me back, but now that I think about it, every time I've got a streak of going through those things and then putting in the time and the effort and coming out on the other side of it and kind of getting back into a level of fitness that I want to be at. So quite
Comeback
proud of
streak. I
that.
love that.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
a comeback streak. Exactly.
Yeah.
So you really got me thinking about that. If we dig deep as well and we say, who am I? What kind of person have I become? And what streaks have I shown along the way that have got me here? That's quite a powerful way to think about ourselves.
Yeah. And another thing about streaks is you get better at it each time, like it compounds. So
Yeah.
by the more and more you do it, you learn from each one of those experiences. And especially when you have something like a daily streak, like when it comes to learning the languages or something like that, or even getting the steps and whatever it is, if you're doing it daily, and you made me think about this when it came to, you said you posted on LinkedIn every day for like 100 days. And I had a similar streak situation in 2019. my friend Connor Neal. I think we both know
Yeah.
Connor Neal. He challenged me. He spoke at an event where I was, and he challenged us to post every single day and post a video every single day on social media. And at the time, I mean, that made me so nervous. But he shared this fable that really stuck with me, and I tell this in some of my workshops about the pottery class, where the students asked the pottery teacher, like, what's more important, quality or quantity? And so the pottery teacher divided the class into two groups, group A, group B. And he said, group A, I want you to just only focus on one piece. And at the end of the semester, just turn in one perfect piece of pottery. But group B, I want you to create a brand new piece of pottery every single day. You cannot continue working on a piece into the next day. You have to stop what you're doing and turn in a brand new piece every single day. And then at the end, they had a competition, an exhibition, and that all of the pieces were ranked. And which group do you think had the most winners? Well, Group B had the most winners because they produced a different piece every single day. They got in the reps. They learned from their mistakes. They didn't have time to overthink it and stop. They also had a sheer larger quantity, a larger volume of pieces to put forth. So there were so many benefits. And that to me, that fable has really stood out to me the most about streaks and the benefit of just doing it, even when it may be tough, even when you're still learning, even when it may be uncomfortable, but just doing it, showing up every day.
Yeah. I suppose streaks at the core of it, it's what it is. It's reps. It's time on the feet. It's time in the saddle.
Mm-hmm.
It's all of that. And that's what we're speaking about. It's showing up.
Right.
Yeah, it's showing up rather than showing off. It's showing up. And I suppose even when you don't want to, that's what a streak does. And I was wrestling with the idea because you kind of alluded to it earlier. At what point is a streak damaging? And I suppose if it's a bad habit, it may be damaging. But I feel that even if you are streaking for the sake of streaking, even if you are just focusing on the streak because you're enjoying your streak, as long as it's a good habit, that's all right. Because I was wondering, does it need to have a purpose, and you have to have that accountability part, and. I'm just thinking though, if it's a positive habit to have, it's not impacting anybody outside of yourself negatively. It's actually having a positive impact on them.
Mm-hmm.
Whether there's a bigger purpose to it, or you're just purely doing it because you love the idea that you've got 5 in a row, 10 in a row, 20 in a row, 100 in a row.
Yeah,
Man, it's neither here nor
yeah,
there. Do it.
yeah. And I hate applying labels to things like good or bad, but yeah, I could see. I mean, let's say somebody has a gambling addiction or something like that. I guess another word for a negative streak would be a vice, right? That
Yeah,
you're doing it
exactly.
consistently, even if you maybe know it's not moving you towards your goals, but you can't stop doing it. Then that would be what I would call a negative streak. So, and you have to look at how damaging it is, right?
Yeah,
As to whether it's negative or not.
that's a strike. A negative streak is a strike. It's like strike
That's
one,
right.
strike two, strike three, strike four. How many strikes are you going to have before you're out? So,
Yeah, that's a good point.
yeah,
And yeah, most things, I guess there's three strikes for a reason, right? Because I guess by that time you start to feel the pain a little bit with most negative things.
yeah.
But let's end it on a high note. This has been remarkable. I still can't believe that we have crossed this milestone of 100 episodes. And and to our listeners who've been riding with us this whole time, you've seen how the podcast has evolved over these 100 weeks that we've been publishing. And I hope you've enjoyed the ride. We would love to hear your feedback. Like, shoot us an email, shoot us a message on LinkedIn or something. You can find both of us there, or shoot us an email. Leave us a review if you haven't left us one yet. But let us know what you think, because a lot of times it feels like we're talking into the void, and sometimes I wonder, are people listening? But then you know what, Justin? I'll meet people in real life who were like, oh, I listen to your podcast all the time. I love what you said on this episode. So that is rewarding to get those comments. So let us know what resonates with you, and let us know where you see some streaks in your life. That's a wrap for today's episode of King Moves. Remember, in chess, like in business, one right move can change everything. Take today's action step, make your move, and build momentum.
If you found value in today's episode, share it with someone who's ready for their next breakthrough. And don't forget to subscribe so you never miss our weekly conversations. Until next time.